It's Sunday, December 12th at around noon, and Velvet keeps running in and out because I pass her by and she gets very nervous, but look at her standing up. Isn't that amazing? What is she doing? Obviously alert, but I'm going to walk by her now because I want to show you some cool stuff here today. This is not about Velvet, although Velvet's watching the activity here. She's going up there. I just fed the birds, and I want to follow her up. She's going to freak out, of course. Let me just keep going here. I'm going to just mess up the camera for a little bit. Here's I go up. It's about noon, as I said, on December 12th, and it's absolutely gorgeous out. Absolutely beautiful blue sky, not a cloud in the sky. We had wind a couple of days ago, just before that storm hit Kentucky, the tornado, and we had a lot of wind, and I took the time on a windy day, the day before that hit, to cover up my garden with the winter plastic. I'm growing a lot of vegetables. I'm going to show you some later on. Quick pan around the garden here. Not much by way of my pot garden anymore, but a lot of parsley. Parsley is thriving, so we eat a lot of parsley. I had no success with my little Johnny jump ups, but one survived, and more parsley. And over here, in this area here, you can see the grapevine still has some leaves. These are new leaves. I have no idea why. It's the temperature. The climate has changed. I've got the sedum underneath some cover there. The pomegranate is now devoid of leaves, and Chasca is right underneath that pomegranate. And I'll just scope around here to get another view of the arroyo. As you can see, it's just gorgeous. And the arroyo is in dormancy, if you want to call it that, but I do have a lot of quail now that have come up. So I'm going to pause and we'll just go to the garden. Okay, this is the head-on view of the garden. This front area here is just some stray wild dandelion and chives. I'm not bothering to cover it this year. I think it'll be fine. So I'm going to tool around here to this area, this little bed. And these are the collards that I planted a while back. A couple of them are actually from seed, but they're thriving now. The little butterflies are pretty much gone, and they're not depositing eggs that turn into worms. So, or caterpillars, whatever they are, that eat. So that's going on. And actually, I don't know if you can see it, the shadows are hard here, but this little tiny kale here, is that it? Yeah. I planted those from seed, a few of them, and they're just beginning to thrive now. So seeds are funny around here. They will stay quiet for a long time and then suddenly burst forth. Now, if I'm going to pan up here, this is another section of the garden. You can see a very old collard green there that's still producing after, well, almost 2 years. And there's kale there as well. And I'm eating off of that as the other one grows, the babies grow. A little bit closer in, down there below the chard, below the collards, you can see chard. And I planted a couple little seeds in there, and they're just beginning to start up. So they'll be good into the spring. They'll start to really thrive. So that's that. Now, if we come over to the big bed. Okay, this big bed has some lettuce that I planted and some kale that did well. This I bought the plants. This is like the dinosaur kale. I've got a couple peas growing just for the heck of it to fill in the gaps. Now, that reddish leafed plant there is mustard greens. And beyond that, I'm going to just go underneath here a little bit. The big leaves here are turnips, and they're beginning to form nice bulbs now. If I swing around, there's a lot of wild dandelion, which I am eating, and a few rutabaga plants, which I did buy. I've never had them before, but I'm trying them out this year. I'm going to swing around here, pardon the disruption. You can see the little bulbs forming on the rutabagas. I don't know what happens to them, how big they get, so I'm just experimenting. But right next to them is a little bed of Chinese cabbage, which is really prolific. I love this stuff. It's one of my favorite vegetables. It grows really quickly once it gets started. I've been eating off of that already. in the distance here, this is actually cultivated dandelion that I'm starting. I had bad luck last year. I didn't get anything, but of course I have enough wild in the garden to eat from. But this is a new little tiny bed of dandelion which I'm growing, and it's delicious. And in stores I see it at $3 a bunch, so I'll harvest some of that soon. And then this is my pièce de résistance. I'm going to swing around, excuse me. And this is the bed which I never can quite figure out why I am so lucky to have arugula. Now, I did not plant much. Well, I did, I guess. And the arugula, for some reason, grows nuts over here in this climate. I don't know why. It just does. And I just picked a big bunch today, and I'll show you that bunch in a close-up. Took a picture. And it's delicious. This is unlike any arugula you will get in the stores. So basically, that's my garden. I'm going to swing around. This is a rosemary bush, and it's just beginning to put out little flowers. Blue flowers here. I don't know if you can see them. The shadows, again, are pretty tough to deal with. Little blue flowers are beginning to form. And so I harvest branches of this and just dry it up as I go. And I have plenty of free rosemary to eat. So that's what's going on in my garden. Everything is pretty dormant. I'm going to walk around this way. What I do when I cover the garden is use 2mm plastic. The heavier plastic is the one on the big bed. I made a mistake and got thinner plastic for the other beds, but it's survivable. You know, it's doing okay. And I will probably use the other plastic another time as I need to. So it's a gorgeous day. And one last thing here is I want to show you the cardoon. Now, I had planted, I don't know, 5 seeds or something, and they started to grow, didn't do well. This one took off, and I actually harvested it a couple weeks ago, and I didn't really do the way we used to do it, but it is delicious, actually. So I harvested a couple more stems now. They grew back very big, so I'll use them up. But this is a perennial, and hopefully I'll plant another one. I removed a dead rosemary bush that was here. I may plant another cardoon there, and then I'll have plenty to eat. We don't see it in the stores here, but you know, my mother and father used to go out on dates picking cardoon in New Jersey by the roadside in the late 40s. So we grew up with it. My Aunt Lucy used to make a beautiful fried cardoon. It was so good. But anyway, that's my garden as of today, December 12th. As you can see, it is still doing its thing modestly, but it is doing its thing. And that's one of the good things here, that we have a couple of weeks of nasty weather sometimes. It'll be coming up soon. But overall, you can grow food here, which makes me very, very happy.